Ladies and gentlemen, fear, it is the shadow that follows us, a spectre of our own making. It whispers that life is chaos, that the unknown is treacherous, and that we must fight for control to avoid calamity. But I tell you this, fear is born from a misunderstanding of the flow of existence. Look around you. Do you see the trees trembling with anxiety about the storms they will face? Do you hear the rivers doubting whether they will reach the ocean? No, because nature trusts the grand design. There is a profound intelligence at work, weaving together the threads of our lives in ways we cannot comprehend. We call it destiny, providence, or the divine plan. It is not for us to dictate or resist, but to flow with like a leaf carried by the wind. Fear arises when we resist this flow, when we try to outthink what is infinite, to control what is unknowable. But the divine plan has no flaws. It is neither early nor late. It operates with the wisdom of eternity. You see, our fear is rooted in the illusion of separateness. We believe we are solitary actors, charting our course in a vast and indifferent cosmos. Yet this is not so. We are inseparable from the whole, like waves are to the ocean. And the ocean is vast, unending, and wise. When fear grips you, remember this. The very breath you take, the heartbeat within your chest, is orchestrated by something far greater than your conscious mind. Trust that same force to guide you, even when the road ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. The divine plan may not align with our desires, but it always aligns with our growth. What you perceive as chaos is often the soil from which your strength will grow. What you call a setback is the pause before your breakthrough. Let go of your need to control, your urge to know every step before you take it. Instead, learn to dance with the uncertainty, to embrace the mystery. For the moment you surrender, you will find that fear dissolves like mist under the morning sun. Trust the plan, not because you understand it, but because it is written by hands far steadier than yours. And when you trust, you will see that even in the storm there is beauty. Even in the darkness there is light. Consider the trees, standing tall and steadfast, their roots anchoring them deeply into the earth. They do not fret over the storms that may come or the droughts that might linger. They do not question the seasons, resisting the chill of winter or the heat of summer. Instead, they trust the cycle, knowing that spring will return, that life will bloom anew when the time is right. Their leaves fall not as a loss, but as an offering, a letting go that nourishes the soil for future growth. Look to the rivers, endlessly flowing toward the sea. They do not pause in doubt or attempt to turn back when obstacles arise. When they meet a boulder, they simply curve around it, trusting that the path carved by the universe will guide them. The river does not fear the rapids or despair at the stillness of a lake, for it knows that every moment is part of the journey. Each phase is central to the whole. The birds, too, offer us a lesson. They take to the skies without hesitation, carried by unseen winds. A fledgling leaps from the nest, not knowing if its wings will catch the air, but trusting the instinct woven into its being. Birds do not stockpile beyond their needs or question the bounty of the earth. They move with the rhythms of the world. Their song, a testament Even the smallest seed holds within it an unshakable faith. It does not resist the darkness when buried beneath the soil, nor does it demand to see the sun before it begins to grow. It simply knows, in the way all of nature knows, that the light will come. It trusts the rain to nourish it, the warmth of the earth to embrace it, and the wind to carry its future far and wide. Each creature, each element, moves in harmony with its place in the tapestry of existence. They do not doubt the wisdom of their design, or question the unfolding of time. They do not fear what they cannot control, for they recognize that they are not separate from the whole, but integral to it. Angel 10. Nature embodies a trust so profound that it weathers storms, endures hardship, and thrives in ways that seem miraculous to us. Imagine the intricate workings of the cosmos, where stars are born in the fiery hearts of galaxies and fade into quiet beauty after eons. Each celestial body, no matter how distant, plays its role in the delicate balance of existence. The same force that orchestrates the movements of galaxies and planets also governs the unfolding of your life. This plan, vast and intricate, is without error, operating with precision beyond the grasp of human understanding. Consider the way a single drop of rain falls from the sky, joining streams that flow into rivers and eventually reach the ocean. No raindrop falls in vain. Every drop serves its purpose, nurturing the earth and sustaining life. The divine plan accounts for even the smallest detail, weaving together countless threads into a tapestry too grand for us to see in its entirety. Look to the seasons, how they change with a rhythm that is never hurried, never delayed. Spring emerges from winter with a quiet certainty, and summer gives way to autumn in perfect time. The trees shed their leaves, not out of despair, but in harmony with the greater cycle of renewal. Even in the chill of winter, when the earth seems barren, life is quietly at work beneath the surface, preparing for the warmth of spring. Reflect on the paths our lives take, how moments that seemed like chaos, heartbreak, or failure often reveal themselves as stepping stones to something greater. A chance encounter leads to a life-changing opportunity. A closed door redirects you toward a better path. Even pain and loss, though deeply felt, often carry the seeds of growth and transformation. The divine plan moves not to please our immediate desires, but to fulfill our highest purpose, working always for our ultimate good. It is a plan that spans beyond the confines of time, stretching into the infinite. What we perceive as delays are merely pauses for alignment. What we call coincidences are threads woven with precision. The plan is not confined by human logic or limited by our understanding, for it originates from a wisdom far greater than ours. Each event, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is part of an unbroken chain connecting past, present, and future in a seamless flow. Even the trials we face are not without reason. They come not to break us, but to refine us, like gold purified in the fire. The struggles we endure often shape the strength we will need for what lies ahead. The divine plan considers not only the present moment, but the entirety of your journey, crafting each experience to serve a greater purpose. From the spinning of atoms to the spiraling of galaxies, from the growth of a blade of grass to the unfolding of human destiny, the plan encompasses all things. It is written with such perfection that even what appears to be chaos is simply a part of the design. Though we may struggle to understand its workings, the plan is never wrong, never misplaced, and never incomplete. The divine plan, like the intricate weaving of a tapestry, operates with precision beyond what our finite minds can comprehend. Every thread is placed with purpose, every color chosen to contribute to a greater design that we can only glimpse in fleeting moments. It is not for us to see the full picture, but we must trust that each element, no matter how perplexing or painful, serves a role in the unfolding of something magnificent. Life does not move in straight lines or predictable patterns. It dances in spirals, waves, and rhythms. What we perceive as mistakes, delays, or misfortunes are in truth the workings of a plan far greater than our limited understanding. The twists and turns, the unexpected detours, and even the heartaches are not deviations, but rather vital strokes in the painting of our destiny. Consider the way the universe itself functions with flawless precision. The planets orbit their stars, galaxies expand, and atoms vibrate, all adhering to laws that maintain balance and harmony. There is no randomness in this cosmic order. Even chaos, as we perceive it, operates with a deeper logic, a hidden coherence that ensures the continuation of life. If the very fabric of existence follows such a profound and precise plan, why would our own lives be any different? We often resist because we cannot see beyond the present moment. But the divine plan stretches across the entirety of time. It takes into account the interconnectedness of all things, past, present, and future, and arranges them with a wisdom that defies human comprehension. Our struggles are not signs of a flawed design, but necessary steps in the journey toward our highest potential. Like seeds buried in darkness, we must first endure the soil before we can reach for the light. What may feel like a delay to us is simply the unfolding of events at their appointed time. The divine plan does not rush, for it does not operate on our schedules or expectations. It is patient, steady, and unerring, knowing that everything must align perfectly for growth and transformation to occur. There is no such thing as an accident within this plan. Every encounter, every challenge, every joy and sorrow serves as a piece of a puzzle that will one day reveal a picture of immense beauty. Fear is born of the illusion of separateness. At the root of all fear lies a fundamental misunderstanding of who and what we are. We perceive ourselves as solitary figures, navigating an indifferent world, disconnected from the greater whole. This illusion of separateness breeds anxiety, as we believe that our well-being depends solely on our own efforts, that we must control and conquer the forces around us to survive. Yet this notion of isolation is a mirage, a trick of the mind. In truth, we are not islands, but waves upon the vast ocean of existence. Just as a wave is never apart from the water that gives it form, we are inseparable from the web of life that surrounds and sustains us. Our fear arises because we forget this truth, because we see ourselves as fragments rather than as integral parts of the whole. When you observe nature, you see a profound interconnectedness. The tree does not grow in isolation. It is nourished by the soil, watered by the rain, and sustained by the sunlight. The bird does not fear starvation, for it trusts the earth to provide its daily sustenance. The stars do not compete for space in the sky, but together they form constellations, shining in harmony. This interconnectedness is not limited to nature. It is the very essence of our existence as well. But our minds, conditioned by fear, create walls where there are none. We imagine ourselves as separate entities, cut off from the flow of life, and in doing so we create a sense of vulnerability. We fear because we believe we must face the unknown alone, forgetting that the same force that moves the stars and guides the rivers is also guiding us. This illusion of separateness also blinds us to the support that surrounds us. We fail to see the invisible threads of connection that link us to others, to the earth, and to the divine. We act as though our struggles are ours alone, as though our successes must be earned in isolation. But just as no wave rises without the ocean beneath it, no moment of our lives unfolds apart from the greater whole. Fear diminishes when we remember this truth and allow ourselves to be held by the unity of all things. That there is an invisible rhythm that governs life, a silent pulse that orchestrates the dance of existence. This unseen force sustains everything, from the gentle rise and fall of your breath to the vast movements of galaxies spiraling in the heavens. It is not something you can see with your eyes or grasp with your hands, yet it is the very foundation of your being. It is the intelligence that keeps your heart beating without your conscious thought, that turns the food you eat into energy, and that allows a tiny seed to grow into a towering tree. This force is not random. It is deliberate and profoundly wise. It is the same energy that ensures the sun rises each morning and the moon waxes and wanes in perfect harmony. It governs the tides, guiding the ocean's ebb and flow, and ensures that the seasons change in their time, bringing renewal and balance. Everything in the universe, from the smallest atom to the vast expanse of the cosmos, is sustained by this force, which works ceaselessly, silently, and flawlessly. Yet as humans, we often doubt this unseen force, believing that we must control every aspect of our lives to ensure our survival. We feel as though we are alone, as though the weight of the world rests entirely on our shoulders. But consider this. Did you instruct your heart to beat today? Did you consciously direct your lungs to draw in air, or did the wind carry it to you without your effort? Even now, as you sit here, life is sustaining you in ways you cannot see or understand. This force does not require your belief to operate. It does not ask for your permission to provide, nor does it cease to support you when you doubt its presence. It is constant, unwavering, and generous. Trusting it does not mean that you abandon effort or responsibility, but that you recognize there is a greater intelligence at work, one that holds you even when you cannot see the way forward. Think of the roots of a tree. They grow deep into the earth, seeking nourishment in the darkness. They cannot see the water they reach for, yet they trust that it is there. The bird does not question whether the air will carry it. It leaps and trusts the wind to sustain its flight. In the same way, you must trust this unseen force, knowing that it has carried you through every moment of your life and will continue to do so. When fear arises, it is often because we have forgotten this truth. We believe we are alone, that we must fight against the currents of life. But the river does not struggle against the flow. It surrenders to the direction of the stream, trusting that it will be carried to the ocean. Similarly, you are being carried by something far greater than yourself. This force is not just external, it is within you. It is the spark of life that animates your being, the quiet wisdom that whispers to you in moments of stillness. It connects you to the world around you and to the infinite web of existence. Trusting it is not a leap into the void, but a return to what has always been true. You are supported, guided, and sustained by an intelligence that knows no limits and makes no mistakes. Chaos is the crucible where transformation takes place, the fertile ground from which new life springs. It is easy to look at disorder and see only destruction. But within the apparent chaos lies a hidden order, a force that reshapes and realigns the pieces of life to create something greater. Growth does not arise from comfort or stasis. It is born in the upheaval, in the breaking apart of what once was, to make room for what can be. Consider the forest after a wildfire. To the untrained eye, it may seem like devastation, an unyielding force that has stripped the landscape bare. Yet, beneath the ashes, seeds dormant for decades awaken, germinating in the newly enriched soil. The chaos of the fire becomes the catalyst for renewal, allowing new plants to thrive and the ecosystem to strengthen in ways it could not before. The same principle applies to the human experience. When life feels as though it is unraveling, when the familiar structures we rely on are dismantled, we often resist and mourn the loss of what we knew, but it is precisely in these moments of chaos that the seeds of growth are planted. The storms of life strip away what no longer serves us, clearing the path for new insights, perspectives, and possibilities to emerge. Even in the natural world, growth is rarely linear or peaceful. The caterpillar, in its journey to becoming a butterfly, must first dissolve into a formless state within its cocoon. It literally ceases to exist as it once was, undergoing a transformation so profound that it can only be described as chaos. Yet out of this disarray emerges a creature capable of flight, embodying beauty and freedom it could not have imagined as a caterpillar. Chaos challenges us. It forces us to confront the unknown, to step beyond the boundaries of comfort and certainty. It pushes us to adapt, to innovate, and to discover strengths we never knew we possessed. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance and stress, our inner selves expand through the trials and tribulations that seem chaotic on the surface. In the grand tapestry of existence, chaos is not an aberration. It is a vital thread. It is the force that disrupts stagnation, that shakes the foundations of the old to make way for the new. Whether it is the turbulence of a storm, the upheaval of personal challenges, or the unpredictability of life itself, chaos is not the end. It is the beginning of transformation. Fear thrives on resistance. The tension created when we attempt to control what is uncontrollable or fight against the natural flow of life. It arises when we grasp too tightly to the illusion that we must have all the answers, that we must predict and manage every outcome. Surrender, however, is the antidote. It is not about giving up or succumbing to defeat. It is about releasing the struggle, letting go of the need to dominate life, and trusting in the wisdom of the greater forces at play. To surrender is to acknowledge the limits of your own understanding, to accept that there are aspects of existence far beyond the scope of human comprehension. It is recognizing that you cannot control the weather, the passage of time, or the unfolding of destiny. Fear clings to the belief that we must at all costs be in charge of our circumstances. But when you release this illusion, fear has nothing left to hold on to, and its grip loosens. Surrender is a softening, a willingness to flow with the current rather than exhaust yourself swimming against it. Imagine a river. When you resist its pull, fear arises as you struggle to stay afloat. But when you surrender to its flow, you find yourself carried effortlessly, trusting the water to take you where you need to go. Fear dissipates. when you stop fighting and allow yourself to be held by the stream of life. In the act of surrender, you give yourself permission to feel uncertain, to not have all the answers, and to still move forward. Fear thrives in the rigidity of needing to control every detail, but surrender invites flexibility and openness. It allows you to adapt, to shift, and to embrace the unknown as part of the journey rather than something to be avoided. Surrender also creates space for grace. It is an invitation for life to work on your behalf, to show you paths you could not see while gripped by fear. When you surrender, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your imagination. You allow the unseen forces, the divine of the universe, the flow of existence, to step in and guide you. Fear is rooted in the anticipation of what might happen, in the mind's relentless need to foresee every possible outcome. But surrender brings you into the present moment, where fear cannot thrive. In the now, you are free to experience life as it is, without the heavy burden of what if. Surrender is not passivity. It is a courageous act of trust, an affirmation that you are not alone in navigating the complexities of life. This act of surrender is not a one-time decision, but a practice, a way of being that dissolves fear every time it arises. It requires patience and faith, the willingness to let go of control over things you cannot change, while taking inspired action where you can. It is a delicate balance, a dynamic interplay of effort and release, where fear melts into peace, and you come to understand that surrender is not weakness, it is strength in its most profound form. And so, let us move forward with trust as our guide, knowing that clarity emerges when we release our doubts, and beauty reveals itself when we open our hearts to the flow of life. In trusting the unseen, the uncertain, and the unfolding, we align ourselves with the rhythm of existence, finding strength in surrender, joy in connection, and wisdom in every moment. Trust, then, is not merely an act. It is a way of living that transforms how we see the world and ultimately how we see ourselves.